Let us enter into the Upanishad. The Upanishad is called Kena Upanishad. You should understand why it is called Kena Upanishad. The first mantra starts with the word Kena. That is why the Upanishad is called Kena Upanishad. Om Keneshitam Padati Preshitam Manaha Kena Pranaha Pratama Praitihi Yuktaha Keneshitam Vachamimam Vadanti Chakshuhu Shrotram Kavu Devo Yunakti. Let me give you the meaning. At those at whose desire and by whom impelled does the mind alight on its objects, by whom impelled does the chief prana proceed to its function, by whom impelled do men utter the speech, what Deva or God directs the eyes and the ears. It is the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, the speech of the speech, the prana of the prana, and the eye of the eye. Wise men separating the Atman from these rise out of sense life and attain to immortality. Every sutra is so nice. I am not feeling like finishing it at all. Because in the sutra, every single word is a technique. Out of every single word you can create a meditation technique. At whose desire and by whom impelled does the mind alight on its objects, because of whom the mind jumps on its objects, because of whom the prana works, because of whom men start speaking, because of which God the eyes and ears are working. He is the ear of the ear, mind of the mind, speech of the speech, prana of the prana, and eye of the eye. Understand? Beautiful. For small example, you are sitting with your eyes wide open, thinking something. Even if somebody crashes you, you will not notice. If you are sincerely sitting and reading, even if the alarm, your wall clock gives a bell, you will not notice. Am I right? If the ears are hearing, how can you miss the sound? Tell me. See, if you say your ears are only hearing, you are sincerely reading. At the time, if the alarm goes, if the calling bell rings, you are not able to hear. How? Something else is necessary to hear. Am I right? Just the open ears is not enough. Something else has to be associated with the ears. That is the only thing can make you hear. Understand? Something else has to be associated with the ears to hear. Something else has to be associated with the tongues to taste. Something else has to be associated with your nose to smell. Something else has to be associated with your eyes to see. Something else has to be associated with your body to feel. What is that something else? What is that something else? That something else is what we call life or Atman inside your being. Understand? Snake has no five senses. Do you know? Snake hears and sees through the eye. Snake doesn't have ears. It sees and hears through eyes itself. There are so many animals, they don't have five organs, but they do all the organs job through one or two organs itself. Through one or two organs itself. What I want to tell you all, the organs are not important thing. The energy which works behind the organs is the important thing. If the organs are important, how can blind people live on the planet Earth? But they are living. See, blind people are living. How they are able to live? Their hand itself does the work of Eyes. For blind people, if you give 5 rupees, they will know whether it is 5 rupees or 2 rupees. Do you know? Just by touch they will know. There are so many instances. Blind people, just by touch they know whether it is wall or a door or anything. Just by touch they are handling. How? The energy which was supposed to work through the eyes, if the eyes are not allowing the energy to work through, it starts working through the other senses. It starts working through the other senses. The real life is not the senses. The real life is the energy which makes the senses work. If you understand this example, you will be able to understand. Raman Maharshi says, we don't enjoy anything because of senses. We enjoy because this energy gets associated with senses. We don't enjoy anything because of the senses. We enjoy because the energy gets associated with the senses. This example, here is the energy which works the tongue, which makes the tongue work. Here is a tongue, here is a sweet. When the sweet touches the tongue, the energy is just pulled towards the tongue. The energy comes inside the tongue. You think you are enjoying. But your mind thinks you are enjoying because of the sweet, not because of the energy coming into your tongue. Energy, tongue, sweet. When the sweet touches the tongue, the energy is just pulled inside the tongue. So your mind thinks, oh, because of the sweet only, I am having enjoyment. So immediately what you do? You put one more sweet. One more sweet. How many sweets you can put? 4 or 5. You see, if the enjoyment is from the sweets, then you should never hate the sweets. But after 4 or 5 you start hating. You say, what do you say? Enough. I am not able to pass. Sometimes people, if they show their love over food, people all will show their love only when they feed you. And they think, let you have diabetes. Anyhow, when you eat too much, what do you really feel? When you feel sick, you are not able to eat. At a certain time you say, no, leave me. You try to escape. And if you want to destroy anybody, you can do one thing, feed him nicely. Nothing else is necessary. Nothing else is necessary. See, if you waste the food outside the plate, only food will be wasted. If you waste the food inside the body, system also will be wasted. Many people come and tell me, actually when I eat, if you observe, the moment I feel enough, I will simply stop. Even in the plate, there will be lot of food remaining in the plate. They will ask me, Swamiji, you are a Swami, how can you waste so much of food? You cannot waste, you should eat. Then I always used to tell them, if I leave the food outside, only food will be wasted. If I put it inside, my system is also system will also be wasted. Always you also understand. Never eat because it is put in the plate. Never eat because it is already put in the leaf. Never do that. If you do that, what will happen? Stomach also will be wasted. Anyhow, your sense, if the joy is coming from the sweet, you should not feel it is enough. Actually, joy is coming from energy. Understand? Yes.
One question, Swamiji. What makes this energy to associate with the sense organs?
Whenever there is a need to work, immediately energy has to rush. You see, my hands are just lying down. Now no energy is necessary. No energy supplied to the hands. You come and give me a glass of milk. I have to now grab that glass of milk. So my hand is lifted. So for that, what has to be done? Energy supply has to happen to the hand. Same way, the sweet is put in the tongue. So it has to be chewed. It has to be enjoyed. It has to be tasted. So now energy is necessary for the tongue. The tongue will be sucking the energy. Energy has to be supplied.
Something else coordinates the Swamiji energy to the sense organs?
No, the very food itself pulls. That itself pulls. The beauty is, the energy has got its own intelligence. It can come even without food. Understand, this is a basic thing you need to understand. It can come to your body, it can come to you even without food. That's what Ramana Maharshi says. A dog got a dry bone and started biting. The bone somehow got inserted into the mouth of the dog. From the mouth, blood started coming. The dog thinks blood is coming from the bone and enjoying it. Same way, you put the sweets in your mouth, joy is coming from inside your energy, but you think the joy is coming from the sweet. Now yes, tell me.
The energy that you speak is not visible. It's not apparent to the eyes. Whereas you can see a laddu, put on your tongue. The tongue has a nerve center, and the brain tells you that you have a sweet. And that's how the connection goes to the brain and tells you that it's a sweet and you have to eat it. So the energy is like the air, we can't see it, but it is there. So that is the problem with the energy concept.
One thing, once you start at least experiencing once, then you will understand the energy. That's one thing. Another one thing, what the problem you say is actually a problem because our senses are outwardly. Our senses are not inwardly. That is why the whole show goes on. Naturally our senses are outside. But if you let them outside as it is, they will be destroyed. You will not have, first of all, physical health or mental health or the spiritual well-being. You will be living just like animals. Nothing more than that. Vairagya or the achievement which has to be done, the basic thing to be done by a man is nothing but making your sense understand that energy is from inside. This is what is the whole sadhana. The whole sadhana, our whole spiritual practice is nothing but making your sense to understand the energy comes from inside. Joy comes from inside. As long as you think the joy comes from outside, you are materialist. The moment you understand the joy comes from inside, you become spiritualist. Either Mithyananda or Nityananda. If you have Mithyananda, you can't go towards the Nityananda. If you have Nityananda, you can't go towards the Mithyananda. The beauty is, the whole thing is actually opposite. Nothing can be done. I do not know why God created like this. You should ask Him. But this is the way it is. Now what is the way? That much only we can do. Now, once you understand, nothing. Even in Uttarkasi, I told you, when you put the sugar in the mouth, just become sugar and see what is happening. Then you will understand. You slip into the energy. Then you will understand whatever experience is happening is not because of sugar, it is because of energy expression. Once you catch the knack and understand that it is from inside the whole thing happens, you are in continuous orgasm. You are in continuous orgasmic experience. That is why the enlightened masters, they are in continuous joy, continuous energy, continuous bliss. You can say, yes.
To understand it a little more, I wanted to two things which I asked and what Anand Subhav asked. If a sense organ draws the energy, and that energy is the bliss or that joy, and that is the perception, that's the real truth. But whatever goes to the brain, to the nerve centers, and the response comes, that is the memory response. That is not the truth. But the mind creates that actual knowledge.
Two things let you understand. This what you said is right thing. One thing, first time when you taste, you think it is a taste. The next time onwards, the idea this is going to be tasty itself makes it the things looks like a tasty. Looks like tasty. It adds more excitement. That's the problem. The memory becomes more and more and more. It becomes like it's chakra. This time it looks like a more tasty. Then more. It goes on. The pravritti continues. And where it goes, we do not know. Now we are supposed to reverse the cycle. Whenever you enjoy, I am not telling you not to enjoy, but look little deep. from where the joy is coming, from where the taste is coming, from where you are enjoying, then you will understand totally deeply you are enjoying into your own being. It is just from inside it comes. It just from inside it overflows. It just from inside it continuously flows. According to Anand Swabhav, if you say that taste comes from outside, Nitya Swabhav, if the taste comes from outside, you understand, if taste comes from outside, then you must enjoy again and again and again, but you are not able to enjoy. After 4 laddu, what happens? Body says, no, it's enough. After 5th laddu, you escape from laddu. Why? This shows very clearly the taste is not in the laddu. The taste is in the energy which works through the tongue. Yes.
Swamiji, where does the mind come into the picture? Like you're saying, if you see something but you still don't see it because your mind is away. So where does the mind come into the picture? Only when your mind is there, then you can see it.
Can you just bring a board? Let me make a clear picture and show you how the whole thing happens. How actually perception happens according to rishis. Huh?
Related question. If the taste is always comes from inside, why would different objects taste different? Like for example, food also is sweet, chocolate is also sweet, but it tastes differently.
That much of energy is only sucked. Everything has got its own mechanism of sucking the energy. The tongue responds.
Right.
The energy responds only to that level. And if one more thing, if you look little deep, little go into the energy, then you will understand. Just close your eyes. Forget that, listen. One hand take chili. In one hand take a sugar candy. Forget this is a chili, this is going to be bitter, this is going to be sweet. And just stretch out your tongue and touch both in one corner. And concentrate on the both points. What happens you see? If you see, you will really see in both points same thing happens. You are only naming this as a hot and this as a sweet. By closing the eyes, relaxed way, drop your idea. This is going to be bitter and this is going to be sweet. Stretch out your tongue, touch both in your tongue. See in both points what is happening. Do it in a very relaxed way. You will really understand. Both are same experience. You are just titling it. You are just titling it. Your mind comes here only. He asked from where the mind comes. Experiences, that is brought. That is brought. And one more thing, in a normal way with the strong things, that has got a capacity to create a different response in your tongue. But if you can go deep into the experience, then you will understand. Even the different experiences have got only same common thread. Only one common thread. The hot and the cold, the sweet and the bitter, everything, if you go a little deep, only one thread. Any swara, the common thread is only one. Yes.
In that case, unknowingly we bite a chili. It should not be hot.
No. Unknowingly means, you see, you have a memory. Chili means hot. You have a memory now. Chili means hot. You may not know this is a chili. You may forget this is the chili. But this type of chemical, this type of thing means this type of response. That mind is recorded. So that will not be avoided. But whether you know or not, consciously if you drop and see, then you will understand. Both are same experience.
Swami, when a small child who has never tasted it at all, and if you give him something very spicy, he starts to cry and tears fall. So he can
Samskar. So samskar means you come up with a set of a sanskar to live with the body, to operate the body. That is why if it is a poison, if it is a thing which should not be taken by the body, give a little bit to the kid, it will start crying. There is a set of samskar, instinct we call. Instinct, that works. The already collected understanding. But I tell you, even that collected understanding is not totally truth. You can penetrate even that. The collected understanding is kept to keep your body alive to run. If, for example, if the child does not have that understanding, then the spice may destroy his whole body. For that, to safeguard himself, he has got that mechanism. But now, you are not supposed to stay only with that idea. Go deep, then you will understand. You can go deeper into your samskar.